Emma sat quietly inside the bus, her hands tightly wrapped around the bag on her lap. The long journey from Hong Kong to Manila, and now to Ilocos, had drained her body. But it was her mind that felt the most exhausted. In less than an hour, she would finally be home. She would see her husband. She would see her sister. And she would finally know the truth. As the bus moved steadily along the road, Emma leaned her head against the window, her eyes fixed on the passing scenery. But she wasn't really seeing anything. Her thoughts had already drifted far away, to the nights she spent alone in her small room in Hong Kong. There were nights when she cried silently, clutching her phone, staring at messages she couldn't bring herself to reply to. Questions filled her mind, but no answers ever came. It all began with a rumor that slowly broke her. People had been whispering that her husband and her own sister were involved in something they should never have been, that they were seeing each other behind her back. Emma had tried to push the thought away. They wouldn't do that, she told herself, over and over again. But doubt is a quiet voice that never truly leaves, and no matter how much she tried to believe, a part of her remained afraid, because she wasn't there. She was miles away, working in another country, sacrificing everything for the people she loved. She was the one sending money home, the one paying for her sister's education, the one enduring loneliness just to support her family, for her husband, for her child. And yet, her sister was beautiful, the kind of beauty that drew attention without effort. Many admired her, many pursued her, and sometimes Emma couldn't stop herself from wondering, what if her husband had been tempted? In Hong Kong, temptations were everywhere. Men approached her. Opportunities surrounded her. There were moments when she could have easily made a mistake, but she never did. Even in her loneliness, even in her pain, she chose to remain faithful. Good thing Edward was there, always ready to listen and comfort her during her hardest days. Edward was a fellow Filipino. She met in Central, where domestic helpers gathered every Sunday. Whenever he noticed the quiet sadness in her, he would gently walk beside her, wandering through the streets, sharing a simple meal, talking for hours, always making her laugh, always making her feel less alone. Over time, Emma began to notice the way he looked at her, the quiet intensity in his eyes, the way his voice softened whenever he spoke her name. She grew accustomed to him, to his presence, to the quiet language between them. Emma understood Edward so deeply that she could almost always sense what he was about to say, or what he was about to do. And sometimes, when she felt a moment coming, she would glance at him and murmur softly, don't say it. And somehow, he understood. But one day, in a quiet, unguarded moment, she heard him whisper, "I love you, Emma." She froze. She hadn't seen it coming, and the sincerity in his eyes was not something she could laugh off or ignore. "I'm married. I have a child," she replied softly. "Still." Edward didn't leave. He stayed. He stayed through her tears, through her loneliness, through the moments she felt like she had no one else. The night before Emma returned home, she met Edward. There was something different in the air, a heaviness neither of them could ignore. "You're going home," Edward said quietly. She nodded. "Tomorrow." Silence settled between them. Then he asked, "What will you do when you get there?" Emma didn't answer, because she didn't know. She was angry, hurt, confused. I'm here for you, Edward whispered, gently taking her hand. No matter what happens. Emma didn't pull her hand away. Instead, Edward held it a little tighter, slowly, as if he didn't want to let go. He moved closer, just enough for her to feel his presence beside her. He didn't rush. He didn't force anything. But with every passing second, he closed the distance between them. And in that moment, Emma no longer had the strength to step back. Something inside her gave way. All the pain she had buried, all the loneliness she had endured, all the anger she'd been holding on to. It overwhelmed her. And for the first time, she forgot everything. She forgot her husband, her family, her promises. That night, she crossed a line she could never uncross. Inside the bus, Emma closed her eyes tightly, as if she could force the memory to disappear, but it clung to her, replaying over and over again. Why did I do that? She whispered. She couldn't understand. Why she didn't pull away. Why she let everything happen. Why she allowed herself to fall in a moment of weakness. Part of her was angry at herself, but another part still held on to the pain, the anger, toward her husband, toward her sister. She needed to know the truth. She needed to see it with her own eyes. When Emma finally arrived home, her parents greeted her with warmth and joy. Their smiles were genuine. Their voices carried no hint of trouble. Nothing felt wrong, and that was when something inside her began to shift. "Ma, is it true?" she asked, her voice steady but tense. Her parents looked at her, confused. The rumor was not true. Her husband had been home all along, taking care of their child. Her sister was busy with school, in the city. Everything Emma believed, everything she feared, was impossible. That night, Emma lay beside her husband. He wrapped his arms around her, tightly. "I missed you," he whispered. Emma closed her eyes, allowing herself to sink into his embrace. She felt his warmth, his love, his sincerity, and she realized how much she had missed him too. The room grew quiet, filled only with the sound of their breathing. For a brief moment, everything felt whole again. The exhaustion faded, the doubts disappeared, the pain softened, but only for a moment. Her husband soon fell asleep, but Emma remained awake. The memory of that intimate moment with Edward would not leave her. It lingered, replaying, again and again. Tears slipped silently onto her pillow, because while she lay in the arms of a man who had never betrayed her, she could not escape the truth. She was the one who made the mistake. She was the one who crossed the line. She was the one carrying a secret. Emma stared into the darkness, her chest heavy, with thoughts she could no longer silence. A part of her believed that the only way to forgive herself, the only way to be fair to the man who truly loved her, was to tell him the truth. But truth comes with consequences. Consequences she could not yet see. Consequences they might not survive. And so the question remained, should she tell him? Or should she bury it deep within her heart and carry it for the rest of her life? If you were Emma, what would you do? Would you tell the truth and risk everything? Or keep it hidden and live with the weight forever? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story moved, you don't forget to subscribe.